London has two excellent greenways. Let's call them the Royal Greenway, because it runs through the Royal Parks, and the London Thames Greenway, because it follows the river. I'll take you along these greenways and then show you how they could be linked to give London a green heart. Their planners would surely appreciate the need for a link. They were Henry VIII and Sir Patrick Abercrombie. Henry was a great king who planned for himself, his court and his wives. Abercrombie was a landscape architect who planned for everyone. Westminster had been the site of a palace and monastery before the Norman conquest. Henry took land from the abbey in the 1530s and rebuilt Cardinal Wolsey's house as Whitehall Palace. There were fields, swamps and woodlands to the west, which Henry enclosed to form a hunting park. Today it is a string of royal parks with individual names, but there is still a 3-mile route running west from Whitehall. You can walk it or cycle it, or, like Henry, you can ride a horse through the Hyde Park section. At £75 an hour, it's a bargain. St James's Park was a dismal swamp in the Middle Ages, containing a branch of the river Tyburn and Cowford Pond. In the 17th century, the river became a canal in a Baroque park. In the 18th century, it became a lake and a landscape park. Today, it is London's most romantic and most popular park. Queen Caroline was told that the cost of making it into a private garden would be only 3 crowns, those of England, Ireland and Scotland. The land which is now Buckingham Palace was also marshy in the Middle Ages. It later became the Mulberry Gardens, Arlington House, Buckingham House, and then, in 1836, the Royal Palace it is today. Green Park was enclosed in the 16th century. It became a royal park in 1668 and was laid out in the Baroque style, forming a link in the chain of green space. Hyde Park was acquired from Westminster Abbey in 1536 and enclosed as a private royal deer park. James I granted access to gentlefolk, and Charles I opened it for public use in 1637. Charles II took his constitutional by walking to Hyde Park along what became Constitution Hill. The Serpentine gave its name to a style of garden design, and the Great Exhibition was held here in 1851. The drawing shows the Crystal Palace in its original position. Kensington Gardens was separated from Hyde Park when William III moved to Kensington Palace in 1689. He had asthma and found the air cleaner than in Whitehall. It then became home to 7 princesses, including Princess Victoria and Princess Diana. J. M. Barrie wrote of Peter Pan's adventures in Kensington Gardens. Central London's other great greenway runs beside the Thames from Westminster Bridge to Tower Bridge. It was planned and built on the south bank of the river in the second half of the 20th century. London had developed as a port city with industry on its banks, and as a capital city with riverside mansions and palaces. Their lordly owners travelled by boat and had no interest in riverside walks. But in the 20th century, manufacturing declined, and Abercrombie, in the 1943 County of London Plan, advised that the banks of the Thames should become a special planning zone. He saw that London's economy was changing, and he wanted to increase the length of public open space beside the Thames from 9% to 41%. It's more than that now. He was particularly interested in what, 50 years later, became the most popular reach of the river, the South Bank from Westminster Bridge to London Bridge. In 1943, it was a zone of wharfs and warehouses. Work on the Greenway began with the Festival of Britain in 1951, but it did not become popular until the London Eye and the Tate Modern Gallery opened in January 2000. Greenways work best when they link origins and destinations. Obviously, the two central London greenways should be joined. But can it be done? Yes. We should learn from Henry VIII. His bedroom in Whitehall Palace opened onto the Privy Gallery. To go hunting, he walked west and down the stairs into St James's Park. For most other journeys, the Tudor and Stuart kings went east and boarded the royal barge at the Privy Stairs. They could travel by boat to London's other riverside palaces. There was also a ground-level link from St James's Park to the river. It went through the Great Court to the Whitehall Stairs. This route is now Horse Guards Avenue and passes two fragments of the old Whitehall Palace: the Banqueting House, built in 1622, and Queen Mary's Steps, built in the 1680s beside her riverside garden. Horse Guards Avenue was the launch site for the IRA's 1991 mortar attack on Downing Street. This led to a ban on car parking, and the avenue has little traffic by central London standards. It could easily become a shared street, like Exhibition Road, where Greenway walkers could be refreshed. They would then turn left into Whitehall Gardens and cross the Golden Jubilee footbridge to join the London Thames Greenway. Then we could all enjoy central London's greenways in the manner of Henry VIII.